Hello, I'm Darren again. Today's question asks, what are the common characteristics and traits of someone who has oppositional defiant disorder, sometimes referred to as ODD? Now, sometimes it can be difficult to discern the difference between someone who has ODD and someone who is perhaps strong-willed or maybe overly emotional in certain situations, or even if they have a genuine grievance against some kind of injustice. But oppositional defiant disorder is characterized by a continued pattern of behavior that can be defiant, hostile, uncooperative, and disruptive towards others, in particular, though not exclusively towards authority figures. The signs of ODD generally begin in childhood, usually before the early teen years. These behaviors can cause significant impairment with their family, with school, and with social activities. Although it's normally associated with children and young people, it can be present in adults as well. And it is the adult presentation that I will be focusing on in this video. In this video, I'll look at some of the common characteristics, then look at how it might present in interpersonal relationships such as friendships, romantic relationships, and also look at how it might present in the workplace. So if you like this video, if you find it helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. Now, bearing in mind, we can all get angry at times. We can feel as if the world is unfair, and yes, we can have something of a rebel in us all from time to time. But the following characteristics would be persistent and pervasive, not just once in a while. I often think of a disorder as being long term, looking at the impact it has on a person's day to day functioning, as well as the impact it has on their relationship with other people, as well as themselves. And the oppositional defiant disorder can be comorbid with other conditions such as ADHD. It can also be comorbid with other disorders, other mood disorders such as perhaps depression or an anxiety disorder. There can also be similarities in characteristics and behaviors with other disorders such as narcissistic personality or antisocial personality. Similarities such as being disagreeable, resistant to criticism, rule breaking, law breaking. Indeed, these things can co occur together. So what are some of the common characteristics and behaviors associated with ODD? Well, first of all, this might be someone who is continually angry, loses their temper regularly. Now, this might manifest itself in perhaps road rage. That person deliberately cut them off or they're driving far too slowly. There could be arguing with people on social media, people who maybe just disagree with them, or perhaps they attack someone they perhaps see as an expert in something or an authority figure. An example could be perhaps getting angry with shop staff or a business. That business might not be able to provide the goods or the service they want, so they feel as if they're being treated unfairly, put in complaints, demand to speak to managers, try to get the staff into trouble. Some people with ODD can have something of a hair trigger temper, can become easily upset and offended, so can get very angry, fly into a rage at sometimes the most innocuous things. But the recurring theme being is usually about how unfairly they think they're being treated. They can be quite impatient with others, get frustrated easily, have difficulty complying with requests, whether at work or at home. If given instructions, they might feel as if they're being controlled somehow. This anger can lead them to be quite disruptive, sometimes even destructive, towards anything or anyone who upsets them. In some cases, they can be quite seething, feel bitterness towards others, experience envy. For example, someone in the workplace might get a promotion. Now, they may have been there longer, they may be more qualified, more experienced, they may have been putting in a lot of hard work. But for someone with ODD, they may claim that that was just favoritism. They can experience a lot of resentment and be disrespectful towards others. People with ODD always tend to be fighting against some sense of unfairness now, whether that's with their partners, company they work for, the government, people with different religious or political beliefs. Sometimes it's just against society in general. And it's not uncommon for them to turn on someone who, until maybe 5 minutes ago, was a friend, a partner, or an ally. And in some cases, there may be a history of being in trouble with the police or other authority figures, getting involved in public brawls, vandalism, or joining aggressive protests. And even in their interpersonal relationships with close friends or romantic partners, They tend to do or say things they know will antagonize the other person. For instance, if they are asked to clear up after themselves, they don't. They sometimes make and leave an even bigger mess for the other person to see. If they are asked not to behave in a certain way, they maybe do it more often in more exaggerated ways. They tend to have a need to always win any argument or any discussion, regardless of what it's about. In discussions, they will generally take the opposite point of view, regardless of what the topic's about. And this can be incredibly frustrating for those closest to them, especially if they can't win an argument by being factual, rational, or logical. It tends to become quite emotive, so there can be raised voices, and this includes name calling, insults, even threats, just to silence their opponent. Even with their closest relationships, when it comes to their actions, their behaviors, they tend to believe the end justifies the means. The rules don't really apply to them. Now, they may genuinely believe that they were doing a good thing, but perhaps it was morally wrong or perhaps even illegal. When others are focusing on the impact of their behaviors, they are focusing on their intent. I was doing this for you. I was doing this for us. I meant well. They're all against us, and so on. So things very rarely get resolved. People with ODD can also be quite vindictive, spiteful, vengeful even. Vengeful towards others they see as having wronged them somehow. That wrong could be something as simple as a disagreement or an objection. And for partners, this can be very difficult to navigate, trying to find ways to communicate something without everything becoming an argument or a battle of wills. How oppositional defiant disorder might manifest at work could be constantly arguing with co-workers. Now, they may complain their co-workers aren't working fast enough, so they're holding them up. Or there could be arguments because their co-workers are complaining that they are doing nothing. Some may even become verbally or even physically aggressive with their co-workers and end up in trouble with human resources and their managers. Even when they start a job in a new place and they're all fresh and they're looking forward to it, usually isn't long before they claim they hate the place and everyone in it. In fact, it isn't uncommon for there to be a long history of bad workplaces and bad work colleagues. All of their managers have been bullies. Some of their managers weren't qualified or capable of managing them. They weren't fit to lead. The organization is out to get them personally, out to cheat them or suppress them somehow. Again, in the workplace, people with ODD tend to like to do things their own way and in their own time. Not necessarily the way they've been told to or the way they've been trained to. Now, when this fails, they generally blame the equipment or other people. They may antagonize those they work with as well, not put reports in on time, not follow procedures, and criticize politics and beliefs. If given a particular task to do by their manager, they may just go and do something else entirely, something not related to the actual task, but argue that their little project was more important than the one they were given. But again, claim they've been badly treated, they're being bullied, the whole organization is out to get them if they have to face disciplinary measures. And just like in their personal lives, as they challenge and question everything at meetings and work, they may challenge every item on the agenda, may even try to introduce new items onto the agenda, and can get quite frustrated and angry if their ideas aren't taken on board or implemented. Because they can be quite sensitive to even constructive criticism, they can get angry, frustrated, go into an emotional meltdown following a staff appraisal. In general, people with oppositional defiant disorder often feel oppressed by rules, laws, and other people. In many cases, they believe the system is stacked against them, other people are out to get them. And they may see themselves as perhaps just misunderstood or victimized or unappreciated. Few recognize that maybe they are the cause of their own and indeed other people's misery. To agree with or to comply with someone can feel as if they are being controlled or oppressed somehow. However, whenever they face the consequences of their behaviors, of their defiance, it reinforces the belief that they are being treated unfairly. Sadly, there tends to be a trail of failed jobs, broken relationships, and chaos behind them. Ex partners, former friends, former workplaces have all treated them badly. and they can feel quite bitter, resentful, and might defend themselves relentlessly, sometimes in some extreme cases even aggressively. So that is a brief outline of oppositional defiant disorder, the characters and behaviours associated with it. Now, as always, there's many things I could have included that I haven't added. Please feel free to use the comment box below. There are some interesting conversations started around these videos. But if you liked this video, if you found it interesting, please consider subscribing to my channel, and until next time, thanks for watching.